Take it away,
yes,
guys.
Sir. just the ghost type trainer Zoinks getting paid off.
I've never been pandered to by an analyst desk. This is crazy. I feel great right now.
Yeah, well, just let me know who you paid or what you need to do to make that happen.
Oh, I'm broke. Ender's about to be gifted 50 subs.
Okay, well, I've got like 2 subs I can sling for maybe like 1 pander. I don't know what the going exchange rate is there, but look at the premium that is put on Sylveon Zoinks right out of the gate. Mentioned that it might have been the glue that Rework Respawn had to make this Gengar actually function. Ender pointed that out, and it looks like, give Toon his Sylveon, take away that tool from them, and move on from there.
Yeah, one of the toughest Pokemon to take KOs on. I mean, honestly, a player that we might consider to be one of the hardest KOs in the world. I think if I'm going to think of all the players, Toon, one of the toughest to lock down. And the style that Rework Respawn plays is very dive, very in your face. So having a Pokemon that can kind of counter that ability just by it's able to outwit and outmove, very, very good first pick by Nouns.
Yeah, right back, we've got the tree into the chicken. 2 quality picks here. ABC on a couple different defenders, none of which were the tree. Last game, it was actually Zug that was on the tree, and they're snatching it back the other way. Still a lot of confidence on the side of Nouns, though, locking up Phalanx, which we just saw actually kind of get beat up and broken apart by Rework Respawn in their previous set.
Yeah, I think Nouns inviting the Gengar, if they will. They are not concerned about it. Rework Respawn picking up this Alolan Ninetales. Its debut in this tournament, at least as far as I can remember in the finals day today, a Pokemon that has kind of on paper, people have talked about having solid counters into the Phalanx. We'll have to see it in practice. But Nouns Esports, with a bit of 2 old school back-to-back picks, the Mr. Mime and the Venusaur, both getting locked in place.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to feel some level of comfort with Bruv locking in Mime. If they see something that they can bully on the other side with this Pokemon, they're going to. They're incredibly adept at it. Reggie really putting them, I know they scrolled through a couple ranged attackers there, finally ending up on the Dodrio. Is Dodrio going to be the secret to this recipe to be able to take down Nouns here in Game 1?
I'll tell you, at the very least, I like it better than a second attacker, Juice Snacks. I think with only Eldegoss and Trevenant as your frontline, double attacker finds a bit more difficulty really trying to succeed, especially when there's a Phalanx trying to run it down your throat at any given point in time. On the side of Nouns Esports, though, Blissey, Phalanx, and Mr. Mime, with already extremely tanky Venusaur and Sylveon, you're much more comfortable about your survivability chances, your HP bars out there. Dodrio might have some pretty terrifying dive aspects. I don't think we're ever going to consider Reggie a non-factor, right? This player has earned their weight in gold on any kind of assassin-style Pokemon, so they're still going to have to keep their heads, plural in terms of Sorayu, on a swivel, but other than that, I think they'll be ready.
And Gatlu, is this going to be Giga Drain Pedal Dance, or are we going long range? I didn't see the items, I was kind of hoping you did.
Well, yep, should have definitely been looking, my bad. But full heal definitely makes me believe we're going pedal drain. The old run at them style strategy hurts a little bit more into a lowland Ninetales, but I think with a Dodrio on the battlefield, where no matter what, we're going to be picking Giga Drain, whatever option it may be.
Yeah, that's the full heal lends me to agree here. But here we go. Game 1 under fire here in the grand finals of the INGAGE Masters Series. We got Nouns, we got Rework Respawn, Titans of their region squaring off in the offseason.
I don't believe we've seen Sorayu lock in the Phalanx yet. Usually that has been a role that Gatlu has picked up for the team, and Sorayu kind of filling into whatever role they fit into. But that is one of the things we talk about so much with this new Nouns Esports roster, is how amazing the flexibility is of this roster in terms of Pokemon pool. Gatlu and Sorayu, 2 of the most flexible players, I think, literally in our competitive circuit. Now they're both on the same roster.
Yeah, absolutely, which allows them to have incredibly deep and malleable character pools and have looks like this, right? Oh, all of a sudden Sorayu's picking up Phalanx and able to flip the script a little bit of what the texture of their draft actually looks like.
Exactly. And these teams have also shown their cards that they're very willing to pick off-the-wall crazy picks, whether it be some Gengar. We've seen a whole lot of Sorayu Talonflame in the past year. I mean, there is so much to see when it comes to these 2 rosters, so I think the fact that they have players ready to fill that bill is very, very exciting. Top path, they're about to post up here. We have the Dodrio into Phalanx. Going to be an interesting first fight.
Nice little post to bring them into the side of Rework Respawn. They got quite a bit of that Zoinks, able to hit some evolutions there for themselves. And Nouns Esports just kind of getting everything taken out from under them. Toonsplin was there available for a nice little flank if they could get a catch, but unfortunately wasn't able to deliver much on that.
Big drill pack, pull him into real danger.
Yeah, we're putting walls up in both directions here. And unfortunately, unable to close on the Gatlu catch. They're dragging them off pad. I don't think the communication, maybe A9 wasn't necessarily there to focus fire it down to help. But ultimately, Nouns Esports gets away with one.
Interesting lane swap, right? So we have Toonslim hanging out with the Sylveon on the top path, actually allowing Sorayu to go back in. Due to the kind of the disaster around that first birds, Sorayu not having the experience to hang as long, so they actually need to rotate in. Well, that means the entire time that Gatlu has basically been on blue buff duty. The only thing they've been able to pick up, so a pretty slow experience race for them as well.
Nice eject button by ABC to get the tree out of harm. Now we're looking back up top, and it's this ugly Combuskin Al trying to get to pad. They're getting the break speed off them. Minotaurs here just going to have to A-press and use their abilities to try and chop them down. But the drill peck comes through, can't take anybody with them. ABC with a nice little flank. They're going to put the wood hammers down. Now they're looking for Toon. Can't quite hit their mark there. Toon is still standing somehow. ABC's looking to pivot. Toon is still standing somehow. Phalanx getting a KO. Sorayu getting that sorted out. And finally, Toon goes down, but you've got to think that put way more effort than Rework Respawn thought imaginable. Bruv with the sickest walls scissored them down, keeping everybody there. Sorayu in the tank for a minute, and they get sorted out by Minotaur. Rework Respawn on the push.
Birds hitting a wall with their movement abilities seems like it is just a fact, a foregone conclusion in Pokemon Unite. Talonflame unites, and I guess Drill Peck Dodrios, at least when Bruv is on the battlefield, it seems like that's what we're going to see. Bit of a race for the secure on the Regieleki, but do some good setup thanks to Reggie's Drill Peck. That overheat is a very easy secure, and Rework Respawn sticking to their guns. They have prioritized the Regieleki in every single match that we have seen them, at least the early ones so far today.
Meanwhile, though, Nouns Esports able to get the basement Reggie without much player commitment here, but Rework Respawn finding KOs up top, and they'll see if they can make this push happen. Bruv is the next one to go down. Toon pops their Unite move as it's a 3v2, and now it's a KO streak of 2 for Al, and it's a goal zone gone as the T2 is the next one on the market for Rework Respawn to score on.
Yeah, I like this priority. I mean, they're giving up a lot into this bottom side, right? Sorayu is going to be scaling up extremely quickly on this Phalanx, probably going to be able to take out that goal zone as well. Nice little fight by Reggie trying to hang in this battle, but one more Giga Drain going to land, and Gatlu going to take that KO.
If that would have been a KO, that would have just been the sickest series of all time, right? Like, drill peck into Unite move, jump kick onto the berry, and then I think it was just like just barely not quite up yet drill peck to get the closeout, but nice little scrap between two top players there.
Yeah, one Panera Charge Lemonade short, I think, of pulling that play off in particular. Toonslim going to do a little bit of damage into this Blaziken, but this is a level 10 Blaziken. So many fights have went very well for Rework Respawn on the top side, and you could see why they were prioritizing that. This Blaziken, the biggest win condition on their roster. They want to make sure that they are enabled as much as they can. Reggie can now start to solo on the other side of the map. They're not there needed to try to help out their top path Pokemon, and it's a lot of walls. Reggie was minding.
What is that damage too? I mean, even if they weren't just smacking into wall over wall, I mean, that Pedal Dance damage, Giga Drain damage, and attack damage was very real out of Gatlu right now, as they are putting everybody. Nice Trevenant Unite to force curse up 3 players. They're all marked. Now Reggie needs to get some KOs here, but it's getting to be difficult. They can't even engage on the Venusaur, and now Phalanx is on the chase. Sorayu looking for them. Woodhammer repositions, and it's now Al that tries to get everybody back. Overheat Bliss is right in the middle, and it's 2 players down instantly for Rework Respawn. A loose Toon got sorted out the other way, but now it's Minotaur getting credit for Toon as well. But Gatlu, too big, and this goal zone is getting smothered by this team.
And that feels like the first team fight we've actually seen on equal grounds from these two rosters, right? Nouns versus Rework. They finally have both their big damage carries facing off against each other. Blaziken versus Venusaur, and Blaziken is able to take it with Venusaur able to take that matchup with abundance. So right now, the raid boss from either of these sides, they're now 1-0 in the fashion of Gatlu's Venusaur.
Yeah, Gatlu is already level 12, easily going to hit 13, which is really that like break point you want to get with Venusaur. And they're really playing unafraid. They don't care if any of these Pokemon engage. They've got such good sustain through that Giga Drain right now. And of course, Adesu is just able to get all the vision in the world for Rework Respawn. There's no surprises that Rework can throw at them right now in terms of personnel, where they're going to show up on the map. Minotaur is pinned between all the walls. They have to use their abilities to try and get out. They can't because it's who? Toon.
Yeah, it's also Minotaur. The amount of times we have seen that player just on the opposite side of the map, and maybe one too many for my liking, big overheat reset of their position, but it's not enough. A Phalanx Unite move that Dust Devil up, gonna shut them down.
I mean, everybody on Nouns is feeling it right now, right? We just saw an eject button showtime out of Bruv in the face of 2 players, while Toon is working on this Regice at a snail's pace. Bruv gonna have to put up some walls to make sure nobody can engage. Confusion Blast just pushes ABC away, and now they finally take their Regice. Is this gonna be a push? A nice catch on Al immediately, and now they're gonna just have to sit in the face of this Trevenant. A9 can't even step up because they're getting spaced out. Blizzard Avalanche on the pad doesn't hit anybody, bruv.
Oh, yeah, that's tough. I mean, Nouns Esports kind of just getting fed a few of these big KOs. I mean, you're just going to walk up against a team composition that has Mr. Mime. I mean, Bruv's going to teach you that that is going to be a mistake that they will always take full advantage of. At least Rework Respawn has this Trevenant trying to get some stacks, but not going to happen either. Venusaur taking that one up and gobbling them down. Venusaur at 13, Sylveon at 13. Minotaur scored in home base because heck yeah, but Rework Respawn's got to retreat now.
I mean, they're putting down the spores as many as they can, and the fact that they're still standing is impressive in its own right. But ultimately, that was a mission for 5 points, my friend.
Yeah, Minotaur loves these aggressive plays. I mean, their respawn timer is incredibly short, so I guess we can give them that credit at the very least. We do have Al taking some aggressive positioning on the blades again, does force out the Phalanx from that top elbow, so at least a small W there. But look at that lockdown on the corridor. Now it's just letting nobody pass into the Ray Pit easy.
Yeah, Al just sitting on top in the top left corner there to see if they can pounce on anybody that might be caught unawares. But really, we're just doing a small dance here. We're going to see who actually engages.
Yeah, Phalanx and Blaziken having a bit of a stare down, even though they're both invisible. Although the Ninetales going to be immediately bursted, and that's the first.
That's the first, and there's many more to follow here. Toon quickly caught, which is a great catch for Rework Respawn here, but now Minotaur is just on everybody's radar, so Rayu actually pivots. Reggie's able to get out, at least for now. Minotaur is just leashing Gatlu away. Bruv easily finds, wow, eject button reposition on overheat for the Ray, question mark, as now Sarayu susses out Al, and they're going to put the pressure on them. They're going to pop them up. They're trying to engage. Overheat is charged. Trevor Unite is used, but Al goes down to Sarayu. Now Sarayu is going to have to use their Unite move. Hitman is finally back, but really it looks like it's just Nouns taking whichever fight they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. Zoinks.
Yeah, Rework Respawn just not capitalizing on all the time that Minotaur was able to buy with the Venusaur being taken away. They really slowed that refight, and then Blaziken just caught up by 3 members of Nouns Esports. Rayquaza already almost KO, but it is Reggie to steal it as he just charges all the way through, and Rework Respawn walking away from this fight with a Ray Shield.
You've got to be kidding me, brother. Like, you mentioned it. It doesn't matter how much time Minotaur wasted, because Reggie was just like, I'm just going to use my Unite move. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we can do. Now Al's on defense duty, charging up on overheat, putting the pressure on. If they get this knockout, that's a good respawn time that they have to work with. But here's ABC with a gargantuan shield. Minotaur doing it the hard way, or trying to, cut off by Toon. That might be a difference maker. There's a real opportunity now for Nouns Esports to push if they can cobble it together, because they got T1. No, time's up. Zoinks, what happened?
Oh, 10 sec. I mean, the clock being the toughest opponent that Nouns Esports has ever had to face in that scenario. I mean, Dodrio's scoring patterns are amazing, but you cannot forget the mobility tools that this Pokemon has. What a secure on that Rayquaza. In the face of 5, mind you, Dodrio able to cruise through and grab that Ray. Nasty business.
True road runner, just past everybody. Of course, gets over the wall and is now free to score in the home goal zone. I mean, okay, sure. I don't know what to say. I'll say this: Rework Respawn feels like they got away with one there, and Nouns has to be a little perturbed.
Yeah, Nouns. I was gonna say I did not love the decision by Gatlu to chase down the Eldegoss. And beating number 6 Orange Juicers? I don't know, but I'm starting to be pulling that way, Doofstacks. I'm not going to lie. It's tough. I mean, it was exciting. Man, I'm really interested Was the Gengar into failing some of the thought pattern? I don't know. Yeah. I've seen some weird Dream Eater situations onto some of the troopers. So, interesting. I'll have to message Reggie about it to learn the details, because as much as I love Gengar, Doofsnacks, my win rate with Gengar does not reflect that.
It is above or below 48%.
Ooh, I plead the fifth.
Fair enough. Mine, below. Far below, way below. Here we go. Let's see where these teams start. No unconventional bans here. Slowbro, Leafeon, Mimikyu, Hoopa. No questions asked there, but we're going to see where Nouns goes. And they said, how about a secure tool? How about a secure tool right out of the gate?
Yeah, let's take that Blaziken. It's also, I've been saying it for so long, Blaziken's early game, as much as we talk about how ugly and horrific Combusken is, it's actually pretty solid into Phalanx. That Blaze healing buff does so good for this Pokemon in particular in the early game against a Phalanx, so I think they're okay with letting that one slide over to Rework Respawn. As powerful as it is, it's still a comfortable 1v1 matchup for Soreyu, at least in the earlier parts of the game.
They are getting a prize. Adesu was hovering Blissey. I was switching to Eldegoss, another powerful support. I didn't mention it before, but in game one, Adesu's Bliss assistances were awesome. Like top range, eating tons and tons of value, hitting a bunch of players on the way in. Not much more you could ask for. But Adesu, true utility. And even just like Cotton Spore being so good right now on any engaging Pokemon because it's so disjointing is terrific as well. Well, Comfey locked in, which means Reggie is going to get the speedster of their choice to close this thing out.
I love that. I'm a big fan of that prospect up and coming. But I also think it's so hard to pick Blissey into Umbreon. Right, so I think rotating into the more all-around style of support in Eldegoss feels very, very good. Now, you're right, Reggie is deciding between two speedsters. Now, we know there's more in the tank, so I'm excited to see what actually gets locked in as Reggie teases us for a while, but will be that three-headed bird, Dodrio, getting picked up by Reggie. A Pokemon that will have a tough time into Toonslim's or Chandelure or Gatluz or even Sorey's. It really depends on how they rotate these players around, but Chandelure is interesting here, Doopsnacks. Inder and I were talking about it a little bit when we were to start this matchup. Flamethrower Chandelure, unbelievably good into Phalanx. It's so easy to get the resets off that Flamethrower and reduce that cooldown. Into Dodrio, I love Overheat. So this is going to be an interesting decision for whatever Nouns Esports member is going to pick up the Shandy.
My gut tells me I would still go with the flamethrower resets because the Phalanx is on their side. Because it really feels to me that what Rework Respawn's going to be doing is they're going to be throwing Phalanx and Umbreon right at you, right? To try and soak up all of your resources and attention so that Reggie can get behind you and really get some key knockouts. Of course, Hitman on the Delphox facilitates that type of engagement, specifically with the Fanciful Fireworks when they do that. So I'm just saying Flamethrower, get as many cooldowns as you can and just lay in some pot shots everywhere. Toon is skilled enough to make sure that every one of those matters, and that's what I'd like to see personally. But I'm not playing, so we'll see where they end up.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm excited that these people are playing. They're very good at the game, and that makes them very fun to cast. So I'm excited to get into this matchup. I think I'm right with you. Honestly, either pick feels strong, but Flamethrower with that Phalanx combination, it just feels a little too good to walk away from. You could rotate to Poltergeist, but I'm just such an imprisoned fanboy, I would not want to see that go away. One thing, this might be the battle of the pot shots, as you called them, though. I think this is going to be a Mystical Fire Delphox. Looking at the enemy side, double attackers, not a lot you're really trying to lock down with Fire Spin, so let's just have a shoot 'em out battle. I'm into it.
How about Adesu taking that red buff immediately out from under Reggie? Going to be able to slow down their impact in this one early. Al going to make it back with Minotaur and the Comfey, of course, as they're going to sit in that T1. But Adesu is just stressing Rework Respawn out. Just A-pressing. Nothing fancy here. We're just A-pressing. We're just chucking our leaves around. You know, just seeing what's going on. And now they might be in just a squiz of trouble, as Kella would say, because Adesu's get the pressure put on. No, I was going to say no shot that Doduo goes down.
That would be. I mean, Adesu's broken, right? Like, I think that is with a capability that they could have done. But yeah, they're going down. Honestly, Adesu doing their best Minato impression of just running it down to the enemy side. But so far, not going to take much. It will be a Hyper Voice Sylveon, so we haven't seen too much of it. Surprising to see into a play player like Reggie, very, very good option to get away from that speedster Pokemon. But if you want that special attack or special defense shred to partner with the Chandelure for some big team fight moments, Hyper Voice is absolutely the tool to go with.
Yeah, you can kind of see that what strategies both teams are putting together, right? And I think this has come down to an execution. We see how good it is right there. We actually have the slow smoke come down, and that's going to allow Al just to get out just barely, because that would have been a sweet KO out of Gatlu, who is on the Sylveon, which is typically where Toon is. But again, Nouns flexing their malleability and their Pokemon pool depth across all of their players, Zoinks.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what makes it look so good. Is it just that much individual prowess, or just teamwork and efficiency in fights that just makes it look good and they still cover it? Either way, it is really hard to come up with any criticisms on Nouns Esports in terms of their player or Pokemon pool, because it is just fantastic.
Absolutely. We're in the bottom path here, of course, as the time is ticking down under the 8-minute mark. Al, just tons of pressure being put on. Comfy is there just in time to grab on. And look at all those little pips moving across the top of the donk, and the dinks behind them as they're looking for an opportunity here. 720 birds are about to be on the menu for these teams.
I forgot you called them that. Oh, man. This is going to take a while for me to recover from that, but oh well. Overheat for the Blaziken. Going to take up all of that experience on the bottom side, and we're going to see yet another 7-minute spawn of the Reggies with Rework Respawn prioritizing top side. Nouns Esports understanding that and electing to not fight it and instead play around the bottom side. That's where we see the Blaziken hanging out right now, one of the mainstays of Nouns Esports strategy.
Yeah, well, Hyper Voice is particularly good into no retreat, right? Whereas the Dodrio has tons of mobility. Less so for that Phalanx once it goes into that no retreat build here. We're going to go for a secure quickly. Overheat is way early. Taken by Rework Respawn because of it. Umbreon goes down, but they did their job. Straight into the back line. We're looking for their next target. Reggie's just jumping everywhere, but it's actually Hitman that's putting all the work in right now, Zoinks. You talk about pot shots, they are landing them right now.
It's Mystical Fire Spin. So, a bit of best of both worlds kind of situation. The reason you see Flame Charge and Mystical Fire so often is the ability to re-aim your Mystical Fire mid-cast with that movement ability, but I guess Hitman, not worried about that, would rather just go all damage all the time, so we're going to lock them down with the spin and then also throw in that wonderful pot shot, but this is a second chance at a Reggie secure for Nouns Esports, and finally, this overheat will land true.
Yeah, and the Hyper Voice getting a KO, you can actually see how good it is in that exact situation here. The Phalanx was in, could not retreat, quickly KO'd. Now we have a great opportunity for Nouns Esports to do some good battle math and get some points in. They're pushing T2 now. Everybody's going to collapse on them. It's a 4v4. We're going to go right into the action. We're popping some Unite moves as well. 3 players down in a heartbeat as Phalanx puts them all there. Comfy getting credit for one. Phalanx getting credit for one. And now they're immediately scoring back the other way. Poached off Pad as a Daisu. They're going to take a ton of damage. Comfy scoring behind them, and they're going to close the goal zone out for themselves, no problems.
45 points in from Phalanx. Thank you, Passive, for that Pokemon to be able to carry a few more Eos energy, and with that, they will be taking a score lead. Not a huge one, but I do like that opportunity to push super hard into the top side. It was Trevenant versus Delphox on the bottom side of the map, so no one on Nouns Esports could really rally for the defense, and Rework Respawn couldn't split push because of it. So a bit of a even matchup on the bot side, but really, really good push by Rework on top.
Just a quick little engagement by Toon. Half of the HP bar of Hitman is just disappears. So you can really see the strength of the Chandelure if it gets onto one of those premium targets. ABC waiting in flank with Hitman. Focus Blast is going to try and push them out of the tall grass, and it works at least for Hitman. They're looking at this Registeel, but nobody's in the backline babysitting this Delphox. They're actually going to pivot on top of Bruv that got on top of ABC, and now they're all sitting on Pad with a huge flank by Al, but Nouns Esports not willing to play ball with them. They're scrambling to somewhere else on the map.
This is a Nouns Esports team that has lost a Rayquaza to a Dodrio. There was no one in the same zip code as that Regieleki, and Chandelure's Unite moving it. We're setting up for the Blaziken. Bruv's on a different island trying to defend against any invaders. They're not letting that happen again.
Fanciful Fireworks right into the Trev Unite. Phalanx pops theirs. Al is going to sit on the pad, and they're going to try and spin to win on top of all these players. They're into the back line, forcing out the Cotton Cloud Crash, but behind them, these goal zones are getting scored on, and that's all that Al is doing now, burning time, trying to see if they can get all the attention. Toon is going to try and lock up that KO, but they can't close out the goal zone, but they are almost up by 100 now, Zoinks.
All right, that push definitely felt worth it. I had some question marks on Phalanx going that deep. That Iron Head, while not in no retreat form, in just normal dispatch form, you can jump so extremely far. So we see the Phalanx chasing all the way down, but they do get a bunch of scores thanks to it. But now it's going to be Nouns' chance to respond.
Immediately, Umbreon Unite picks up the berry here, and they're able to withstand this big push from Nouns just based off of these two players playing meticulously. Now, ABC is way far forward. They finally get KO'd. Dodrio goes into the mix, but the mean look is down, at least for a moment. They do get the KO. Gatlu's able to push the Hyper Voice forward and make sure that their notes are hitting the ears of those players. Rework Respawn is just absolutely getting shelled. What started off as a great defensive approach by Rework ends up in catastrophe.
And meanwhile, Regieleki was also KO'd, and Nouns Esports able to have a solo mission thanks to Sarayu and pushing a ton of points on the top side too. So now, with Rework Respawn having one successful push on the bottom side, how about a response of two successful pushes from Nouns Esports? With a split push from Sarayu on top, and a great team fight win and goal zone break by Nouns Esports on the bottom side. Impressive stuff. Nouns have the momentum right now. They did use a decent amount of Unites in that push. They're missing the Sylveon Unite move at the very least. So we're going to see Gatlu returning all the way. Rework Respawn could try to force a fight on the bot Reggie, but it looks like we're going to try to get that Phalanx in position instead.
Yeah, in position, of course. Look at the two players back from Nouns going to cover some of these pads to make sure no cheeky scores, because we've got 9 seconds till raise Zoinks, and this one's pretty important for Nouns.
Yeah, again, they're experienced against this Dodrio now. They are doing every style of counterplay they possibly can to make sure that Reggie's normal game plan is at the very least disrupted.
Gatlu knowing exactly where each other were. Reggie goes for a quick engage, forcing everybody to scramble. The slow smoke is out though, and Gatlu's the Hyper Voice kind of caught with it on cooldown. They get drill packed. They're getting full comboed here. The Hyper Voice is still there, picking a little bit of shear, forcing out the Unite move. Focus Blast is there for the cover as well. And now all Reggie can do is run away as the rest of the team is kind of caught with their pants down. They're moving all disjointed. Into the backline is Reggie. I think they got imprisoned, locked in place. Comfy Unite as well. Cotton Cloud Crash right on top. Everybody's on the goal zone. Umbreon's pushing forward. They're trying to find the target. Toon slams the first one down, and now we're spinning to win. We're sitting on top on Phalanx as they're looking for the next target. 2 players down for Nouns Esports, and now Rework Respawn immediately pivots to the middle. It's just Gatlu, it's just Bruv, and we've got the Umbreon on a mission to go see if they can mean look a key target here. Gatlu's Unite move is down. It was used previously. They're gonna have to hit a Hyper Voice here. They're just gonna tick through. No way, that's how it's taken, because it's Hitman on the other side. Oh, the Ray Shields are theirs, and the win is on the horizon.
Hyper Voice, a true double-edged sword in a situation like that. It reduces the special defense of Rayquaza as well, and Hitman is going to take full advantage with that Mystical Fire to pick up the Geho onto the Rayquaza. And now with the Ray Shields in, Hundo Burgers, and forgive me, I did not know what you were calling the 120 scores from Phalanx Dupes next, which we just got to see from Al.
I double with cheese. Who knows at this point?
Double with cheese. Okay. I thought it was definitive. My bad.
Well, it's in the workshop. It's in the workshop.
All right.
Yeah, Hundo. I don't know, like a.
I think I said Hundo Burger with all. I said a Hundo Burger with all the fixins, and I didn't hate that. But it is a mouthful, so I do understand if we don't want to pick it up as a colloquial community term.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll drum it up. We can do it. We're smart enough. We're smart enough for this. As we're just tortured through the last 30 seconds of this garbage time of this game. Of course, we know Rework Respawn's going to win. We know they're just racking up their numbers now. And we have reset this bracket. So grand finals bracket reset rolls on. Nouns Esports could not be less excited.
But momentum and energy behind Rework Respawn. So now, Rework Respawn, we've talked about it a few times on the broadcast, a team that walked all the way through the open qualifiers without losing a single game. In fact, in this tournament series, the only game they took a loss to was Nouns Esports, and now finally getting their game win against them, putting up a 91k damage game on Delphox.